Capitol Hill. Jim, the president signed the bill, but he certainly didn't celebrate the event. Tell our viewers what he is saying about this new sanctions law.
That's right, Wolf, and we should point out, unlike other acts that the president has taken here at the White House, this did not happen in front of the cameras. He signed this behind closed doors and then issued a couple of statements. One of those signing statements that accompanied the signing of this legislation, which imposes some new sanctions on Russia's energy industry, also limits the president's ability, as you said, to lift sanctions on Russia. You'll recall after the 2016 election, the Obama administration slapped sanctions on the Russians, ejected them from those diplomatic compounds on the Maryland Eastern Shore in New York. But the president, along with that signing of the legislation, issued a statement saying that he disagreed with portions of it. We can put this up on screen. He is essentially saying that it's not constitutional. And here's what he has to say in one of these statements. It says, "While I favor tough measures to punish and deter aggressive and destabilizing behavior by Iran, North Korea, and Russia, this legislation is significantly flawed. In its haste to pass this legislation, the Congress included a number of clearly unconstitutional provisions." So that is a suggestion there, Wolf, that even though this bill has become law, the president has signed it, the president does intend, the administration does intend to exercise its authority in terms of the implementation of this law. And we should also point out, Wolf, there was another statement that was put out by the White House from the president on all of this, and it said that he signed this bill for the sake of national unity, which is a very interesting statement, Wolf, because it obviously acknowledges some of the deep concerns that exist not only on the Democratic side, but even on the Republican side about the Russia investigation, about what's going on over here at the White House. You recall it was just yesterday when Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the White House press secretary, acknowledged that the president helped craft that misleading statement from his eldest son, Donald Trump Jr., about that meeting he had with the Russians during the campaign. And so it appears in the signing of this legislation and the statements that went along with it that the White House is trying its best to move on and deal with some of the fallout, the public relations fallout, PR fallout of this Russia investigation, which, of course, is ongoing. Wolf.
You know, Ryan, you're up on Capitol Hill. The bill passed by a vote of, 98-2 in the Senate, 419-3 in the House of Representatives. So Congress would have been able clearly to override a presidential veto. There was no veto. He signed it into law. But the message he's sending lawmakers is very clear. This is significantly flawed, he says, and contains unconstitutional provisions.
Yeah, Wolf, and I think by the margins that you talked about there that this bill passed by so overwhelmingly, it's quite frankly the most bipartisan thing that this Congress has done in 2017. It shows that both Republicans and Democrats don't necessarily trust the White House all that much as it relates to Russia. And even Bob Corker from Tennessee, who's largely been supportive of the administration, and he was the lead negotiator in the Senate and was in open conversations with the White House about this particular bill. He said publicly that the fact that the White House has not really given strong statements as it relates to Russia is one of the reasons that this bill had to be passed and provide more controls by the Congress as it relates to the implementation of sanctions like these. So this is another indication, Wolf, of kind of the rocky relationship between Capitol Hill and the White House right now. And it's not just Democrats. There are more and more Republicans that are uncomfortable with that relationship. It even tracks back to the health care debate. So this was a loud and clear message from this Congress that they are a co-equal branch of government, and part of their job is to keep the White House in check.
Yeah, the president clearly does not believe that. We're going to get into that a little bit more. Ryan Nobles, Jim Acosta, guys, thanks very much.